First mobility corrective, we're gonna go after the hips on this one. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get set up in our hip 90-90 position, okay? We're looking at make sure that our knees are 90-degree bend here, okay? What we're gonna focus on is we're gonna pivot on our heels, reaching across. Once we reach across, we're gonna rise up, come back down, and going back the other way. This is a great way to loosen up your hips and start to engage the core with it as well to keep those hips healthy. Hip work is crucial for any athlete because the looser you can keep your hips, the more agility you'll have, more quickness you'll have, because you're not going to be dealing with the stiffness that prevents you from moving in your sport. This mobility corrective is going to go after loosening up the ankle. We're trying to improve our dorsiflexion and our ankle here. Dorsiflexion is bringing our foot up towards you. And the reason why this is important is because this is going to create the recoil we need when we are running to make us faster, because the more recoil we can create by creating a bigger angle, the more force we're able to generate here. So this is how this one looks, okay? We're going to get set up in a lunge position. Okay, we're going to be in a very tight lunge, so you're going to notice my foot is almost in line with my knee here. And what we're going to do is you are going to sit on this foot with this knee, okay? And you're gonna drive your knee forward, straight forward, and you're gonna hold that. Okay, now don't have your knee rotate in. You're gonna rotate it, or just bring it straight forward, and you're gonna hold. For a 3 to 5 count, you should feel a stretch in the back of the calf, but you should feel a strain in front of the ankle. So we're gonna hold that for a 3 to 5 count, then take the pressure off, and we're gonna go right back to it. Okay, you're gonna notice this is gonna start to loosen up your ankles. So if you're one of those people that can't get into that deep squat without your heels coming up, this will fix it right here. Hips are important, but loosen up the hips is not the only thing. We need to loosen up the spine as well, because anytime the hips are loose, that's great, but if our body can't rotate to complete the moves we need to do in our sport, we're gonna be lacking on what we can go out there and do on the field. So this next one is gonna start to loosen up the spine here. So how we're gonna do this one, we're gonna lay on our side. Okay, we're gonna start with the leg straight, and we're gonna bring this top leg up, okay? And then we're gonna use our opposite hand and place it on top of the knee. Now we're gonna take this arm, we're gonna reach across, and then I want you rotating back as far as you can. You're trying to get to the ground. While we're doing this, we're also having our hand here keeping this down, so we're trying to loosen up this upper half and a good rotation stretch. Okay, when we reach back here, you're gonna take a deep breath in, and out. That's gonna help relax some of those muscles, get a little bit more of a stretch, and then you're gonna bring it back down. You wanna complete this on both sides. This is a challenging one. This one's gonna be a squat with a calf raise, okay? This is gonna be really important. If you haven't been focused on our mobility series and helping develop a full deep squat, go back and work on this and then start to implement this next exercise. But what I'm gonna have you do is we are gonna get into that deep squat position. In this deep squat position, we're gonna hold here, but we're gonna rise up on our toes into a calf raise and controlling that back down. Okay, this is really important. This comes from a lot of power. A lot of our sports, we're in a crouch stance, athletic stance. We need to be able to generate that power from our calves to go ahead and produce the movements we need to do. So this is a very foundational movement here that we need to make sure that we are at our best with. Rising up on the toes, coming back down. This exercise may look easy, but as soon as you start trying it, you're gonna notice the challenge with it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get into a side lunge, but we're gonna do a knee drive hold when we're coming out of it. Okay, this is gonna be working on the stability of the hip to make sure that when we're playing our sports, we're getting pushed around, we're able to control that and stay balanced and under control. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna step, okay, we're into that side lunge. From this position, we're gonna drive up, we're gonna hold for a count, and we're going right back to the other side, side lunge, drive up, hold for a count, going back down into the other way. You'll see how by doing this, you're gonna start to really focus on stabilizing on that one leg. So when those times you get bumped, you will have the ability to stay under control and stay balanced. We can strengthen up our quads, our hammies, our glutes as strong as possible, but we also need to strengthen up our feet. It's one of the most missed areas. The more strength we have on our feet, the more we're able to bounce off our feet and to generate the forces, all the strength that we have on our legs. And so what I love about this one, this is our back low walk. okay? This is a challenging one, okay? And there's different steps of progressions and regressions with this, but we're gonna be in a crouch position, hands behind our back. What we're gonna do is you're gonna reach back. You can reach back as far as you can, but you're gonna stay on the front part of your foot as you're transferring into the other one, okay? That's the tricky part, is staying on that front foot, trying to generate that pressure and stability to push off. Now you can progress this by increasing your reach, reaching farther back, but you have to stay on that front part of that foot. You can also increase the speed if you start to get really good at it, increase that tempo. But in the short term, if you're just starting out with this, just focus on taking those small steps, trying to stay in the front of your feet and be able to generate that force and stability as you're doing that transfer from each foot. Too many times I come across high-level athletes where they are just so leg dominant, arm dominant, that they're just so strong that their core doesn't have to engage. But the issue with that is eventually leads to deterioration, whether it's dealing with a hernia or whether dealing with a muscle imbalance, something that leads to injury. So I know this one is probably not going to be anyone's favorite, but it is very pivotal to do if you want to make sure your upcoming season is the best. So what we're going to do is a side lying plank, okay? We have a couple different ways. We'll show you a full side plank. So I'm going to go up here, I'm going to lift up. While everything's stable, I'm not going to keep my hips level. I'm going to lift my top leg up and down while keeping everything level. Nothing's dropping. Go ahead and do this on both sides. If you're having trouble with that and that's a challenge, what you do is bend your bottom leg so that we're lifting up this way, and same thing, moving up and down. What you're gonna notice with this one is we're keeping our core engaged and we're teaching our body to keep a core stable while we're actually producing our leg movements. So it's very important for any athlete out there to do this because it's teaching the core to do its primary job, which is to stabilize, and then it's teaching our legs to do their primary job, which is to move the leg, not trying to do both core stability and leg.